Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame and Cinnamon Sugar, and we are back for another recap review for The Shy. So, y'all already know that I'm behind by I think 2 weeks on this because it's some shows I'm behind 3 episodes. But y'all already know it's due to the foolishness above me, and I'm just trying to make sure I catch up. And the way that I'm doing it right now is I'm doing it show by show. So I'm gonna catch up show by show, day by day. And as long as I'm able to stay awake, I want to be able to complete each show. So that's what I'm doing. So The Shy is what I'm doing today. I finally watched the last episode today. I had been holding off, and I was like, let me just go ahead and watch it. There are 2 more episodes left for the season, and I'm very excited. This has been a great season. The most been popping off. A lot of stuff been getting on my nerves, as y'all already know, but still, anyway, we're gonna get into that. So, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, if it's not, welcome back. I really do appreciate your support. Thumbs up this video for me to let me know that you stopped by and that you liked something about this video, whether it was my glasses, my little curl right here, the lipstick, my little Africa chain, my shirt, something, child. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But let's go ahead and get into this recap review. So everybody is screwing. I mean, ultimately, that's literally what's going on. Jada and Darnell screwing. Child, with Tiffany and her man screwing. And Emmett and Keisha screwing. Like, they're going around the city showing everybody screwing. So eventually they stop on Jada and uh, Darnell, and she's trying to have a little moment with him because he over here talking about some, man, we got to stop playing around. We too grown for this. I'm trying to split bills with you and all this other stuff. And she was like, the next man I live with is going to be my husband. Like, cause it's like, don't come at me talking like all of this. Like, I just went through this situation with Suede. Suede was everything. That's why I don't care how they try to spin this because they've known each other. I'm just like, forget the fact that he's familiar to you. This man tried you your entire life. Like, I'm just saying. I understand that at some point people can change, but he tried you too many times. And I mean, you a good one for allowing him to come back into your life yet another time. Like, I'm sorry, yet another time, because it made me slur, child. I don't know. I'm just like, doing too much. Excuse me. Gotta stay hydrated. I just don't understand why people sit up there and they get with these people and it's on again, off again, and in most cases it's more off than on. I just don't understand that. I don't see the point in that. You go off, do what you want to do, and then you come back to me and it's supposed to be cool. I don't understand that. I don't think that's natural. I don't think that's what it is and what it's supposed to be. Like, I'm good where I'm at. So then we see Emmett and Keisha talking, and at this point, we see y'all screwing all the time, but she trying to figure out what they actually are. And he talking about, look, I want you to be the last ex I get back with. And even though y'all know how ignorant he speaks, but he's really trying to help her to understand. Like, he really lived for her, and he don't want to sit up there and just have this endless cycle of in and out. And I'm just out here being for the streets and being community peen and all of that. And so, like, basically, like, okay, yeah, I'm in it for the long haul. Yeah, I'm here for it, whatever. And I'm just like, yet again, there's another situation I don't understand. She was with Christian. That man lived for her and her son off rip. He was always nice to her. He was always sweet to her. He didn't have an ulterior motive. He wasn't trying to screw, didn't have to try to sit up there and be like, ooh, let me bait her into whatever and then we can screw or whatever. Like, he really lived for her. The conversation, she was smart. He was smart. All of that. And I'm just like, what in the world? So anyway, at this point, you need to figure out how we gonna approach this, because I have to tell Tiffany. So now they trying to figure out how they gonna do that, and at this point, should they? Of course she wants to, but he like, well, should why should he's like, should I? Why should I say something to her? She went off with old boy and ain't say nothing to me, and I'm just like, just because she was immature in this situation doesn't mean that you need to be immature. Y'all have kids, and they are friends. So, like, why not just approach it in a better way than she did? Show her what she should have done. So then we see Victor, because I was sure about to say his street name. Victor is with the trans woman. What is her name? I'm only Fatima. I was only saying the trans woman because I couldn't think of her name. But he's with her. They just had their little sneaky link moment and all of that. And so at this point, because he is scared of how his image is going to be perceived, it is what it is. And she's just like, I feel like a mistress and I ain't here for that. And he talking about, I don't really want to keep you a secret like that, but I gotta do what I gotta do. And so it's like, child, I'm not gonna be no secret. Like, I know I deserve better than this. But for right now, if it's serving the purpose that she trying to have, which is just to screw him, I guess, or whatever, and hope that he get out of his feelings and actually learns to be open and honest about it, whether he's running for office or not, do as you do. So I'm tired in my spirit because despite the fact that Shad has a whole woman out here, he on a dating app swiping and looking at stuff. Jake then walked in the room like, what are you looking at? Like, it's like, ain't you with somebody? Like, what is really going on here? And he really trying to act like he ain't got a good woman right here. And I'm just like, see, this is what I don't like. This is what I don't like. I don't want to hear that excuse about, I've been in jail all this time. I've been in prison all this time. Okay, but this woman accepted you. As hard as it was for her, she accepted you and all of your flaws, but you out here still trying to look at other women and possibly set up some situations. Like, I ain't here for that. So anyway, I'm just like, child, Jada is supposed to be setting up this date with Darnell because typically, the traditional way of doing things is the man sets up the dates and takes the women out and all this other stuff. And so she was like, I ain't got no problem with that. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? I know what I can do. I know how to do this. You ain't got to worry about that. Just be ready later on. I'm going to take you out. And so, meanwhile, across town, we see that Kevin is hanging out with his girlfriend. And all of a sudden, he gets this secret invite to an underground gaming competition, if you will. I'm just like, ooh, like the gamer in me is like, ooh, wait a minute. Like, see, all of this stuff that they have been doing has been so, like, I've experienced like so much of this stuff. That's why I can relate so easily to a lot of these shows, because I've been through so much of this stuff and I experienced so much of this stuff. But he's very excited about it. She's talking about astrology. Y'all know he is not here for that. But he trying because he really like her. But I'm just like, I know opposites attract, but I don't know. Maybe him and old girl supposed to be together. Is her name Lene? The girl who lived at the house with him? Yeah, so I don't know about this situation, but he got invited. He's inviting her to go. And at this point, it's kind of up in the air as to whether or not she want to go, because she ain't interested in what he's into. He ain't interested in what she's into. I, for one, don't understand why he's not into, well, I mean, part of me can understand why he's not into the astrology and all that stuff. Like, I'm not heavy into it, but like when we talking about being grounded and like the meditation portion of it and the crystals and all that stuff, like that stuff really does work. It works for me, let me put it like that. I ain't trying to convince y'all, I ain't trying to convert y'all, do what y'all do, but it has worked wonders for me. And I want to actually visit some of the caves that have the natural crystals in them and retrieve some for myself, and not just rely solely on people who are going and getting them and fashioning them in the way that they see fit. So yeah, because they have a few places like here throughout Virginia and other surrounding states. I do plan on going at some point. When, I don't know, but yeah, I'm into all that stuff. I'm into what both of them are into. So yeah, Tiffany is talking to Rob, her man, and Tiffany just be looking so unhappy and tired of her spirit, and it's like, you did all this to leave Emmett, and you look even more miserable now. Like, ma'am, I'm gonna need you to do something else. So anyway, she looking at him, and they talking, and she was like, "I want to meet your supplier," and he looking at her like, and she was like, "I mean, I know we together. I know you my man, but I mean, this is my business. I want to be able to meet your supplier because I want to be able to deal with them and see who you dealing with and all this other stuff or whatever." So at this point, eventually he agrees to it, and so she like, cool. After not seeing Dom for I don't know how many episodes, she has reappeared and she's in the kitchen cooking like she normally does at Smokey's. But something going on with the burners. I guess because it's an older establishment and he hasn't really updated the appliances. The burners have gone out. They got all kinds of situations going on. And it's like, you need to get all that stuff up to code, updated in some mode because you feeding the neighborhood. Like, you feeding the neighborhood. It's gonna be going from sun up to sundown. Like, come on now. So anyway, she could tell that he's like out of it and all over the place. And so eventually he lets her know what's going on. And so it's like, sir, your whole situation is messy. Your daddy was messy. Like, everything was messy. I screwed you. I got with your daddy. Your daddy left me for your mama. Like, come on now. And so you need to tell Tiffany what's going on and all that. Well, you need to talk to Tiffany and all this other stuff. Child, it's just too much because it's like that's what the problem was before. There was no communication. You need to let people know what's going on so you can get back in the game because your head is all the way out of the game at this point. Victor out here trying to placate to the people like he in this relationship with this helper when he ain't. He over here taking every opportunity he can. I mean, he's following the advice that everybody gave him and he's posted it on social media and people are eating it up. They really feel like, oh, this is a young, thriving couple. Oh, I can see babies in y'all future. Y'all are so beautiful together. And all the while, he thinking about Fatima. Like, do what you're supposed to do. Papa's daddy done rolled up, and at this point, I think he's offering up his church as the possible headquarters if he does end up really being able to run for the position that he, has applied for, and he's kind of putting himself out there to do. So that's going to be interesting. Tiffany ended up meeting up with the person who essentially is the middleman in this situation because she talking about, oh, I'm looking for my man supplier. Like, why are you saying, she said it loud. I'm like, girl, you sound like the ops. So I understand why they treat you like the ops. So immediately when she said all that, old boy that was sitting at the table was like, gave folks the signal. They came over there, frisked her down to see if she had any kind of wires and stuff going on. Like, girl, what's wrong with you? And she was like, I mean, I'm not stupid. I just wasn't thinking. Girl, you dumb. Anyway, at some point, I guess she gonna meet the supplier child. So, old boy ended up meeting up Kevin. Kevin ended up going to the underground gaming situation. He did well. And it's crazy because they are using like Bitcoin in order to like buy into these games. And it makes sense. Like, a lot of people do not understand how big gaming is and how much of a payoff it is. Like, some people are finally seeing it now. It's kind of being put out there now. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what y'all talk about. I really wish I would have taken it upon myself, like, before it really started catching on, when I was really deep off into, let me see, Tekken 6. I platinumed that game. That is the only game that I had platinumed. I platinumed that game several times. Um, I really loved Tekken. Growing up, I started on Tekken 3, and I played up until the most recent one, which I think is what, 7. But I loved 6. Lily, I did great with her. several other characters, whatever. Sorry about getting into that, but I'm like, I live for that. I lived for Mortal Kombat. I lived for so many games. Y'all don't understand. First person shooters, like a specific Call of Duty in particular. Oh, if I had a got in on that one, I probably would have been making bank playing that particular one here in the United States. I'm gonna make sure I specify, because as I've already told y'all before, myself and my ex, we ended up going to this gaming situation that was happening in Raleigh, North Carolina years ago. And it was so dope. Um, I don't know if y'all heard of these before, but like y'all know that gamers are synonymous. Whenever you hear about a gamer, you hear about Mountain Dews or sodas and chips and all that stuff or whatever. They had these. They were like sliders, but they really weren't sliders. They were introducing these cheese and meat and sauce mixed together in like some kind of puff pastry ball or something. I forgot what they are, but I think that they sell them in the store now. But this was the first time they were like introducing them to, before they even hit the shelves. They had samples of those there. Them things was delicious. Um, like they had all kinds of stuff going on, all kinds of merchandise, but I got to see like the top gamers in certain games. Like at the time it was Mortal Kombat, uh 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 um dang it, what's the name of that? Super Smash Brothers, which I have never been good at that one. Like it be so much stuff going on, I can't do it. But that was still interesting to watch the people play. Um Tekken. Child, they had it was some dude from like somewhere in Asia, China or somewhere. Child, he was like the number one person in the entire world, literally globally, who was there. He was there in Raleigh. He traveled from there to Raleigh to play because there were big prizes, big amounts of money on the line. When I tell y'all them games was going by so fast, I was sitting there like, how are they doing? He had, y'all, I'm sorry. He had, now y'all, where my thing at? Y'all think of this and think, oh, okay, this remote control, this controller is, whatever, right? This man had a big old box and had a stick on it, and he was doing the most and clickety clacking, and I was like, oh my gosh, oh no. Like he was real with it. I can't get online and play any of my games the same way that I could play with this joystick, as they call it. I can't do that. I can't do it. I can't get on there with a mouse and do the up, down, side to side and still do the same thing. Other people can do that. My ex could do that. I cannot do that. This is the only way that I can play. I don't know if I would ever be willing to do what that man was doing with that stick that he had. I don't know. Sorry, y'all, my bad. But anyway, he's at the underground situation, Kevin, and he's playing and he's whooping people's behinds left and right. Some dude who heard about him and they have been like speaking his name high. I'm talking about like high level. They were speaking this man's name, this boy. I'm talking about man. They were talking about Kevin like he is like President Obama at this point. And I'm saying that because this is Chicago. It is what it is. So yeah, y'all. He heard about him, his skills. And so he was like, it's okay. He fronted the money for him. He was like, I believe in you. He did well most of the time. He lost like one random game because his head wasn't in the game at that particular moment. Something popped off and his mind went somewhere else. But oh boy, like he won so much money because of him. So it is what it is, y'all. So anyway, Gemma and Maisha are, hanging out, and she basically is trying to tell Maisha, like, I'm trying to be your manager. Like, you got a lot of potential. You need to learn how to enunciate more, your stage presence. You need to work on that. But other than that, I know what you can do. I believe in you. And so Maisha's like, I believe in us. So let's continue to work on this. And like, she's being very, very critical, as she should, and it's actually making her better. So I'm here for it. Rob talking to Tiffany. Tiffany in her feelings. And I'm like, girl, go somewhere and sit down. You want to be in this life, do what you do. You know what come with it. So anyway, while she in the middle of talking to Rob, Emmett calls her and tell her you need to come over. And so she trying to figure out if it's EJ Jr. or what, and it's not. And he's just like, just come over. So then we end up seeing Victor. He is practicing a speech that he knows he's gonna have to give to a bunch of people. His mama walk in, and he kind of is like, ooh, let me stop talking right now, because at some point there are times that you might feel some type of way because of the past that he's had with her, because she hasn't been present. And it's like, what can I say that's real? What can I say that's going to reach the people? But I'm really still trying to be real in the same moment. And I don't want to make everything seem like it's revolving around what I went through with my mama per se. But yeah, he talking about I'm still working on this part and all this other stuff, because he brings up his mama's past and all of that. So his mama told me she want to hear, so it is what it is, girl. You gonna learn. And like, he's not really believing that she is done with her journey. He's not believing that she's done doing drugs. And I'm like, I don't blame you. Every time you look up, you try to believe in her and she let you down again. And that's your mama, so you have a right to feel what you feel when it comes to her. So yeah, y'all. So anyway, Emmett ended up meeting up with Tiffany, told her what the situation was. Of course, she and her feelings, and she like, out of all the heifers in Chicago, it's her. Like, really, that's what you do? You know, that's my friend. Like, how could y'all do this? So she feels some type of way because he didn't approach her with it. She ain't said nothing. Now she feel like she backstabbing and going behind her back, and it's like, oh, all this time, what you had going on, how long it's been going on. Now you could tell she's really, really hurt. And of course, as life would have it, she connected the dots and was like, okay, so that day when I walked in on you and you were having that dream where you were standing at attention and you were awakened out of your sleep by me, were you thinking and or dreaming about Keisha? His silence spoke volumes. And she said, F you, and walked out the door. So anyway, Jacob is talking to his mama and basically revealed to her that Jim is pregnant. And so, of course, she wanted to know if Victor knew. And he was like, nah, he don't know. I don't know if I should tell him. And he's actually trying to think of his brother's future, because stuff like that usually is like a stain on your career. And it's like, child, you're in Chicago, like, and I'm not trying to be mean or facetious or anything negative when it comes to that. I'm just saying, like, you're in that particular neighborhood. It's not, I don't feel like it's something that people would necessarily shun and be like, well, how dare you think you're gonna lead us when your brother is doing this? Like, I don't think so. But I know, I mean, you can't really put them past folks, but I'm just like, child, it ain't even that deep. Like, it's really not. That's normalcy. It's not that serious. Like, as long as he taking care of his responsibilities, I wouldn't care what he doing. So Jada ended up taking her man out on a date, and he ended up loving it. It was like a steppers type situation. Y'all know how Chicago is known for stepping and all that stuff. I wish I could do that. Like I told y'all before, I used to want to go out dancing and all that stuff. My ex didn't want to do it, so I never got a chance to do it. So it is what it is. At some point, I'm gonna be able to do something. I'm just not a club person. And so I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Victor ended up having his speech, and I think he ended up leaving his mama out, if I'm remembering correctly. This was 3 weeks ago when I first watched it, y'all. So forgive me if I'm leaving that part out. But instead of basically talking about his mama, he ended up talking about Shad, and was talking about how he was given a second chance, and look at him and what he has going on now. And everybody looked at him, and standing ovation and all of that for him. It was really nice. And so everybody seemed to be receptive of his speech, and it just was what it was. So it was a mess. Um, it was a mess because Victor ended up getting in his feelings at the situation that was going on. he ended up talking to him, trying to explain to him what was going on. And like, he really got bucked with Jacob. I was like, sir, you ain't got to do all of that. Like, he really wanted to try to talk to him. And he in his feelings. And he like, golly. Like, Jacob really be trying to be on the right path. And then people be trying him. I be like, Lord. So the date is over with. And they back at the house, Jada and Darnell. And they really had gotten down. And, you know, he threw his back out. Like, he really had a good time. And I'm like, look at y'all having fun. Child, I'm still not here for it. But whatever. Who am I? Like, I can't. But this is the thing. It's not over with. Y'all, Jada had gotten, like, she had hit the, I was like, wait a minute. Let me get my life together. Shit, let me get all the way back to what I was doing. Because I can't even pull none of this off. Ma'am. She had, like, the little lingerie situation on. It was everything. Child. Went in the room, he sleep. Boy, if you don't get your behind up at this point. Get up. So anyway, Victor is now second guessing whether or not he's making a difference. It's so much stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And so now it's like, dang, like, don't nobody have time for this. Like, it's just so much stuff going on. And she's trying to explain to him that she has a dark side too. Like, everybody got a dark side. It is what it is. And he's trying to comfort her. And I'm like, please don't let it be no situation where they're going to start trying to be with each other at some point. Like, please don't. Anyway, so the secret situation had gone down. And so Lene was upset. Because she like, okay, well, what's going on with this situation that y'all got going on? It's obvious that your girlfriend know about this secret. I thought we was cool. Like, why can't you tell me the secret? It's obvious that your girl know. What is it? So she in her feelings. Like, she feel left out. Like, they supposed to be friends. And so at this point, the girlfriend is even noticing that he ain't spending time like he should with her. And she read him and was like, you need to work on your time management. Ain't nobody got time. So now Emmett and Keisha are talking, trying to figure out, you know, what they're going to do now. Because Keisha keeps reaching out to Tiffany. She won't answer. Her mailbox full of some more. Like, now she feel like a terrible friend, a terrible person overall. And I'm just like, girl, when you going to do some schoolwork, though? Like, I really be like, girl, you be doing everything but schoolwork, honey. What is going on? Tiffany and her feelings. Rob trying to talk to her, and even though Rob in that life and he be doing a lot, and I be in my mind, I be like, child, when the cheating gonna come out? He seemed like he a stand-up dude when it come to that, and like he's already mentioned before, like, as long as we are 100 with one another, we good, we cool, ain't nothing for you to worry about when it come with me. And so, like, I like how he comes to her and is always like he's usually soft with her, and I love that. Because she always feel like she got to be hard in these situations. And, of course, he learns that they are together and all of that. And he trying to understand why you care about that. You ain't with this man no more. Like, girl, if that's your friend, you shouldn't care if they happy and they together. Do what you do. Stuff like that happen. Well, now it's got to a point where Jacob is trying to figure out if Gemma's going to keep the baby. And now she's, you know, decided, yes, I am going to keep the baby. Because at first she wasn't sure. And it seemed like she was going in the direction of aborting it. He's excited about it. He was like, look, I'm going to take care of my baby. I'm very happy. And I'm glad you happy about it now. So they say cool with it. They seem like they going to make it. It is what it is. So anyway, we end up seeing Victor. And they went to his mama room. She ain't in there. We're trying to figure out where she at. She done left a letter. So at this point, I'm like, okay, Heifer, what you got going on? Like, did you leave because you are going to really try this time or what? Because I'm guessing that that's what we're supposed to be led to believe. She just wants to be able to have him to remember her sober. But in my mind, I'm like, girl, like, are you in your feelings because he be reading you, and it is what it is because you haven't been there, and like you can slip at any time, and that's just the reality of the situation. Like, but so she's like, let me just leave while you have the good memory of me, and it is what it is. But did you leave a message for Jacob too? Anyway, y'all, that was the recap. I'll see y'all later.